What's up, brothers? Hope everybody's doing well out there. In today's video, I want to talk about why the modern dating game is broken. Because there's a lot of people out there that are starting to get the sense that something is off about, this current situation. Something doesn't seem right. And the truth of the matter is, there are a lot of people out there that are users. They're just self-serving people. And what typically happens in a situation like this is, these self-serving people get out there and they use other people, and then after somebody gets used, they adapt and they become a user themselves. And to be honest, a lot of the advice that you hear in the manosphere is based on that premise. The guys that are teaching you how to get laid, how to hook up with girls in nightclubs, things of that nature. That's basically what they're teaching you. They're coming from a psychologically damaged position. They're basically just teaching you how to be a parasite. Because let's get things clear. If you're a woman out there that uses men for money and resources, you're not a princess, you're a parasite. And by the same token, if you're a man that uses women strictly for sex, you're not a player, you're a parasite. You can try to make it sound cool. You can try to spice it up and say, well, you're some sort of alpha male or whatever, but it's just not the truth. You're a parasite and you're damaging the world. Your influence on the world is a negative influence. And that's just the truth. And I don't mean that in a way of putting anybody down. I'm just stating the facts. That's the honest to God truth. Anyways, because of all of these users that we have out here, and due to the fact that we no longer live in a predominantly monogamous society, it's a lot more polygamous nowadays. Meaning people have multiple partners. Things tend to spread a lot quicker. And the bigger the city is that you live in, the quicker it spreads, just like an illness. The more the population, the worse things get. So if you're in Miami, New York, LA, Vegas, Chicago, it's going to be a lot worse than in a small town. You're going to have more parasites, more users. And you're going to have more people adapting to the nature of the game and becoming users themselves. The problem that people are having here is, their best features and their best traits are becoming burdens. So if a man is kind and generous and caring, he's considered a simp. We've labeled him as a bad person because he's a good person. It's insane. And women that are good, loving women are just considered to be boring. And we basically praise club chicks, and club chicks just use men for money. So it's kind of the nature of what sort of a dating market we have nowadays. But, one thing that you have to ask yourself is, do you want something different? Are you willing to make the changes that it's going to take to change your life around? If you're a man that takes a woman out to dinner with hopes of getting in her pants, whether you get in her pants or not, you're a simp. You're a guy with no discipline. You can't control your biology, and you allow your temptation to dictate, the type of a person that you are and the way you treat other people. If you're a man that takes a woman out on a date because you want to show her that you appreciate her, well, you're a good man. You're doing good things. And if a woman wants to take advantage of you because of this, that doesn't make you a shitty person, doesn't make you a bad person, it doesn't make you a simp. You know, it just means that you're a good man and a woman tried to take advantage of you. The important thing is to keep your dignity and keep your self-respect. Don't let society dictate your morality. And look, whether you're a man or a woman, if somebody's taking advantage of you, if somebody's using you, and you actually have good intentions, you have to stand your ground. You know, just like any business partnership, friendship, or relationship, when things seem off and you stand your ground, the true colors of the other person is going to come out. You're going to find out what they're made of. You know, if you stand your ground and you say, hey, something's off here, kind of seems like you're using me, kind of seems like you're not really treating me that good here, what's going on here? Well, that person will either throw a fit, they'll throw a fit and, you know, throw a temper tantrum, and you'll see who they really are. Or that person can recognize their mistakes and maybe start treating you better. But I think it's important that people evaluate themselves and say, hey, am I just adapting to a corrupt and immoral society? Or am I actually, you know, am I moving with dignity and self-respect? Am I attempting to be the beacon of hope in a fallen world, in a fallen state? You know, I think that's probably the biggest problem, is people are self-serving, and they've been taught to be self-serving. You know, a lot of dating coaches, a lot of quote-unquote role models out there will teach you to be self-serving. You know, a lot of dating coaches will teach guys that if you want to get a good girlfriend, you need to have a really cool Instagram with a lot of followers, and so on and so forth. Or you need to walk around with a bunch of hot girls to make other girls jealous and trigger pre-selection and things like that. You know, if you're falling for this shit, you have no moral compass. It's been destroyed. You've let society completely dictate your morality. And, you know, it only takes one person to poison the well. And it sucks that a lot of good people are getting taken advantage of, and they're turning into bad people. But they are. You know, and I think we have to acknowledge this if we want change. I can tell you one thing for a fact. A lot of times when you're being a good person, you're being a genuinely good man, there are people that want to take advantage of you. You know, there are a lot of snakes out there. And sometimes it can be difficult to stand your ground, because when you stand your ground, a lot of times what happens is that relationship or that friendship or that partnership will fall apart, and you have to sit back and watch your life get better and watch them stay the same. And when you're a person out there that genuinely cares about people, and people betray you or people take advantage of you, it can be devastating. You know, but good people tend to continue doing good things and continue improving. And the bad people, you know, they just stay the same. They just stay in that perpetual state of using and abusing. You know, they're corrupt, and they never quite see the light. You know, society has certainly gotten away from God, and you know, it is what it is. And I know there's a lot of people out there that aren't religious. There's a lot of people out there that are. But one thing you have to acknowledge is when Western society created communities based on, you know, biblical laws, things went smooth. Things were good. People had good, positive natures. But, you know, we've shifted away from that. And this new world is all about pleasure and desire and temptation and greed and narcissism. That's just the nature of the new world. That's the nature of the beast. So, you know, it's just something to think about. Do you want to adapt and become part of the system, or do you want to, you know, become part of the change? You know, I guess I can't tell you what you should or should not do. You might get quicker and faster results just by playing the game. You know, but I can speak from experience. You know, when you try to do the right things, when you don't ask people for favors, but you're always there to lend a helping hand, when you are generous, but you never ask anybody for anything in return, you know, when you have good intentions and you care about people, a lot of times you do get taken advantage of. But usually if you're responsible enough and you're a good enough person to accomplish those things in the first place, then you're still going to land on your feet. And the other person is still going to be a piece of shit at the end of the day, you know. So take that into consideration. And, you know, and that's my take on why the dating game is currently broken. Hope this video was somewhat informative, but I gotta bounce. Peace.